Welcome to my initial impression of the new contrast paint release from Citadel through Games Workshop. I have 8 colors so far, so I did buy 8 of the 25 new colors. I'm eventually going to probably get all of them to show you on the channel, if not for my own painting projects. But I've been playing with these a little bit, getting them swatched on the ever popular swatch sticks, right? So you'll definitely be seeing these in some color compare videos. I just wanted to share some initial thoughts with you that I was thinking as I was using these. And the first thing I want to say is, well, contrast paints are back. These are essentially the contrast paints that we know and love, just in different colors. And so the idea, I think, here with the new releases from Games Workshop is everything is just a little bit brighter. It has a little bit more, it's more saturated, it's more bright, it's more colorful, and that's pretty cool. So we almost got like the start of a little rainbow here going. We have, some reds, some purples, some greens, some blues, and the teals, and, different colors there, a little bit of yellow on that Mantis Warriors. This is kind of cool stuff. I will say a couple of things have kind of surprised me. Now, I have been painting with a lot of Army Painter Speed Paint. You might have seen on the channel, we've been focusing on that. That's been kind of the other big release of paints, probably for this year. I'm going to say this year, but you never know. You could be surprised. We do have a couple more cool things coming. But as of right now, that is mid-July 2022, this is kind of one of 2 major paint releases. They got a lot of hype here. And so I've been doing a lot with the Army Painter Speed Paint, and I have to say, kind of going back to contrast, just how thin it is very surprising to me. So I did paint a couple of squigs, and we're going to see these come back with our red squig collection. But as I was painting these squigs, I you can kind of see where the white's shining through a little bit. I gotta maybe go back and touch these up. It was very, the paint was almost kind of like, like when water sheds off something, it was beating up and doing all that. And I really usually don't have that problem. Though then again, I've been painting mostly with Army Painter paints, and here I'm back to Citadel. And I don't quite remember if I had too much of a problem with that with Citadel when I was using it pretty regularly before, though I wouldn't be surprised if the answer is yes, especially given that I'm kind of thinking back now to painting some of my Night Haunt with it, and it was definitely sometimes a struggle to get it to apply evenly over a surface. That aside, let's jump right in with these 2 things, and immediately I don't want to say it was my theory, but it was a community theory is correct. Contrast paints are not necessarily any longer contrast paints. Okay? Look at these 2 models. How does that shading and highlighting look? Dare I say almost non-existent? I mean, look at those teeth and the wrinkles and things. It's very flat. And we looked at the sample models that Games Workshop had posted pictures of, and we said, wow, these do kind of look a little bit flat. And so what I'm kind of starting to do is divide up these contrast paints into at least 2 categories. Category number 1 is very much these kind of flat paints. These, despite being contrast, still need to be shaded, and if you want highlighting, highlighted. Now that's really interesting because, to me, from a let's get gaming, quick models on the table, I just want to, play with painted models, which is maybe weird for me to say with as much time I spend making a painting channel, but that's really my goal, because I really want to just have my models be painted. I played with spooky gray plastic for way too long. So the idea of, prime it, 1 coat of, contrast paint, and I'm on the table, very appealing to me. These here don't quite get that, so that's kind of a type A sort of thing. The other type is our usual, contrast paint. I'm not going to focus too much on looking at the colors because we'll have detailed color compare videos of these, but I think these are maybe less flat. Certainly the Briar Queen Chill's got some good depth to it. They all really do. They all got some good depth to them. So that's really nice, right? Briar Queen Chill, I think, might be a type C, if I'm doing an A, B, and C, where type C is almost, it's pretty much a wash. It's a wash type more than anything. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in a separate video where I have some Stormtroopers on the way, and we're going to play again with some white speed paint, some Briar Queen Chill, and some of the new Citadel shades. That might be a little while before I get that actually going. But the idea of the barrier between speed paints and washes kind of becoming blurry is certainly happening. Like, that idea certainly kind of happening right now. What else are my thoughts, especially on these colors? Well, everything's a lot brighter, so we've got a lot of brighter colors. But also I want to say I'm surprised with how similar these colors are. Maybe not so much the Karandras Green, but look at the Mantis Warriors and the Striking Skorpion. Full color compare on this coming real soon. But these two, I feel like I could have an idea for a model in my head. I could find either of these paints without knowing the other one existed and say, oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. They really, to me, scratch the same itch, and so I kind of wonder for folks how that's going to play out if they're kind of redundant colors. They are definitely different, but to me they kind of fit the same theme. Another thing I want to say is everything being more saturated here. These colors are so bright and nice. Like, it's just a bright, shiny, happy color. We haven't seen much of this from Contrast. That's very welcome, and so I'm very hopeful for things like that. So anyways, my initial impressions are I am super glad that Games Workshop has decided to come out with some more paints. It now, to me, feels like you could really paint anything with contrast paints. You could really say, okay, I'm going to just be a contrast paint painter, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to paint a new army. Maybe it's a little skirmish army for like Kill Team or Warcry. You might say, all right, I'm going to buy the contrast paints I need, and I'm not going to worry about too many or maybe even no regular paints. I feel like we're kind of finally there, maybe, and so I'm going to be exploring that a little more as I get some more of these. So, like I said, I was able to get these 8 on release day, and hopefully more coming soon. I do have a couple of news updates for you if you stayed here till the end of the video. News updates. There are, well, this is secondhand reports, so courts are going to call me out on my hearsay, but I'm not on a stand testifying, so whatever. My local game store tells me that their distributor told them that one of the 2 purple colors, and they weren't quite sure which one exactly, was not shipped to, they said, to anyone in the United States. I'm not quite sure that that's true, because I'm pretty sure folks have been able to get it from some of the Games Workshop stores. I don't remember if they knew which purple it was, though. I suppose they would have had the other purple on the shelf. We could have deduced it. But one of the 2 purples was not available. And then also, the other cool news thing, I think this is kind of a cool thing, is, well, it's cool, and it's maybe not for some players who have been using these paints for a while. There are a bunch of paints that Games Workshop has announced are discontinued. So they've got all these new contrast paints. They're discontinuing a lot of the dry brush paints and some of the air paints, I think. To make room in the racks in stores, though, certain other paints are going to you basically have to order them special kind of status. And so be ready for that. Talk to your local game store about what's going away from their racks. They're probably going to be getting new of the label strips soon for their paint racks, and then you'll be able to pull off the ones from the shelf and have a little last chance to buy. So if you use those colors regularly, do be ready to stock up. All right, well, that's my initial thoughts. Hopefully that's useful to you. Let me know what questions you have, what we should explore with this. I am ready to get these on some models. I have a heap of Nighthawk just right here, ready to go for some of these colors. I got the squigs happening over here. We're going to find some things to put this green on. So more coming to you soon, and hopefully showcasing these colors and more as I can get my hands on them. Alright folks, well thanks for watching. Take care. Let's get gaming.